Well, thank you everybody for coming today. My name's Erik Skogquist. I'm a city council member in Anoka. Did I get a woo in the back? Thank you. Woohoo. Um, First thing, I just want to hit on a couple development highlights here. So, if you drive through Anoka, you've been noticing a lot of action's been happening at 7th and Main Street. One of the corners where the former Hardee's was will be a multi-tenant retail commercial space with a couple drive-bys or drive-throughs, excuse me. And all right, got my gaff for the day, right? Anyway, a couple drive-throughs. So this will be a really good hybrid between kind of going from downtown to Anoka and then to the east by Riverdale over there. So looking forward to that, and that should be open this summer. Also here we have the American Cooperative. This is a senior co-op on our historic Greenhaven Golf Course. So that opened last month, and it's a great asset. We're trying to use that resource we have as a city golf course a lot more efficiently. And one of the cool things I liked about this is not only does it take advantage of the golf course, but there's even golf cart parking for the residents there, so they can just cruise right over to that city resource and enjoy it and spend a little money. So a couple other things in our rail village, we've been having activity for a while now too. So there's daily weekly townhomes. There's 2 3-level townhomes in that area. And I've heard from a lot of folks they love it because it's our rail village is maybe not even a mile from our downtown along the Rum River. And there's a great Rum River Regional Trail that connects people to the south to downtown Anoka and along the Rum River into points north into some of our neighbors, Ramsey and Andover, and other things as well. Also, there's some activity happening if you go down Grant Street. There's some foundations for a new Phase 3 of Volunteers of America, a senior living facility. This is more your entry-level kind of affordable senior housing. And so once this is constructed, you can go everywhere from that to assisted living and independent to nursing home all at the same location. So this has been a project going on for many years, and it's just trucking right along. One other thing, I want to touch on here is the Curb Appeal Residential Enhancement Program, or CARES program. This is very similar to what Mayor Cook talked about in the city of Coon Rapids, where we're using some of our city resources to leverage a lot of private investment in curb appeal in our neighborhoods. You all know Anoka and a lot of the other communities are older communities, and a lot of times some of these programs that we have, low-interest loans and other things, are great, but they're not as utilized. And so this was I really want to say kudos to Coon Rapids for not only creating this model, but for your staff for working with ours to get this off the ground. And it's great when you have more applicants than you have folks that are going to go into the program. So hopefully we'll get some more money into this and just keep trucking along. Not the most exciting thing in the world to talk about, but we have a street renewal program in the city of Anoka we've had for 24 years. And this is not only street surfaces, but you got to think about the pipes and the infrastructure underneath. And so we've been doing this for 24 years now. The next 2 years, we're going to spend $5.7 million redoing the area around Franklin School. It's the northwest corner of Main Street and Ferry Street. And for those that aren't into that, haven't been having to do a lot of that, when your infrastructure is getting 70 years old underneath, that's a big expense. I think the bills are probably 3 times more than they were maybe 5 years ago. So plan on this, think about it, because it sneaks up on you, and it's very expensive. But it's important, and that's what people expect our cities to do. Another public improvement project here, we have the Rum River stabilization. So we have 2 rivers through Anoka, the Mississippi and the Rum River. We try to work really closely with the Anoka Conservation District, and they were instrumental in helping us get $1.1 million to help shore up this eroding riverbank. This is right in the Rum River near downtown Anoka below the Woodbury House. That's the big white house with the stone fence when you go over to Champlin. And so it's important that we protect not only that historic asset that predates the state of Minnesota, but it also reduces sediment into our river and helps keep our navigation channel open so that Mayor Cook can take his boat up and spend money downtown Anoka. Also here, an investment we had is I touched on the cooperative along the golf course. Well, what was there prior was a lot of the city's our shooting range, dog pound, those types of things as well. And so we had to relocate some of those. So near our fire station and our police station is our law enforcement training center and animal containment facility. So on that left side, that's from the 3rd Avenue level. It's actually a 2-level facility built into a hill. And that's for CSOs, for parking, for the kennels, and a little bit of an outdoor run. And so that has been opened up, and it's been very nice for us. And so I'm sure you can talk with our department if that's something you have interest in, or if there's other issues with your animal containment. We felt that this was important for the city of Anoka, for our residents. They've expected it for many years, and we wanted to keep that going. The other part that's great is if you see in the lower right, the whole lower level is the Law Enforcement Training Center. What this is, it's kind of a two-pronged thing. There's a 50-yard indoor range that can be used for rifle training and certification, as well as in the picture you'll see there's a kind of a wraparound simulator for our law enforcement individuals. And so it's really a state-of-the-art facility that we have in the city of Anoka right here. And if you have interest, any of you that have law enforcement or folks in the sheriff's office or anybody else, share this, because we view this not just as a city of Anoka asset, but this is really a community asset that we're willing to allow other people to come in and utilize. So just keep that in mind. The other thing is our Greenhaven Golf Course I touched on. This has been something we've had in the city since the 30s. But we're always trying to be efficient with our resources and come up with new ways to utilize that. And so in the city of Anoka here, what we've tried to do is try to get it in the off-season. What can we do at different times of the year when there's not as much activity? And we do cross-country skiing. We have groomed trails. We had a high school event out there yesterday. Simulators we've had for a few years now, and those have proven to be very successful. But one thing we added was the Cedars at Greenhaven. It's a disc golf course we set up just for the winter time, and that's been hugely successful. A lot of people coming out, enjoying the golf course in the off year, and then they come in and they warm up, they get something to eat, and it's been great. And not only does it just provide revenue for our restaurant, but it gives people exposure to something they didn't know was there. And so they can come back in the summer or for some other activities. So just being smart about what we have in the city and trying to use it as much as possible. Also in Anoka, I probably have more events than I could list. I could go on for 45 minutes talking about that, Pete, so I won't do that. But one thing that we did change this year is we've had the annual Christmas tree lighting for many years now. We added an Artisan Delights Market at Historic Mill Site in the city of Anoka, a great event venue where they fixed up a historic print shop. But trying to have play for local artists, just kind of keep adding layers and layers to these events at any given time, and it makes it more appealing for more folks, gets more people in the city. And I'll just like to say, you see that picture at the fireworks that Mayor Cook was talking about. They totally stole that from us, but it's okay because we stole the curb appeal program from them. And friendly rivalries are great, but that's why I love about this stuff, because we can learn what other people are doing. We can build on that success, and our borders don't just stop because there's some line on a piece of paper. People live in all of our communities. And so with that, getting into Anoka is important as well. We're older city, it's kind of a hub, so I won't get into Highway 10 because that'll be done later. But there's other ways to get into town. We have a couple rivers. We try to do what we can to make sure people come on their boats from the south or from the north. We have a snowmobile corral set up in the winter. I've seen folks come in from Ramsey and Points North, and they stop in Anoka and have their bite to eat. With a permit, you can have your UTV and your golf cart in the city. And we're also just looking at other ways to just address multimodal transportation. There's a lot more. We've all seen more e-scooters and bikes and things cruising around. So trying to figure out ways to create better trail connections, striping maybe on the roads, and not just doing it within our city, but I really want a goal to be able to work with some of our neighboring cities, because there's a lot of folks, they like to cruise around maybe a mile or two, and they could go to Riverdale. They could go across to that great development in Champlin that's over there, and those folks can come to us. So trying to work together, I think, is really important, because people love living in this area, and no matter which city they're in, they should have the opportunity to enjoy everything. Final thing I'll touch on is the social district concept. And some of you maybe have heard about this, but this is actually, there was a law passed last session in the liquor bill that allowed the city of Anoka to have a social district. And this is similar, if you've traveled around, you've probably gone to other cities where you can have a beverage in a licensed restaurant, bring it outside within this certain district and zone, mill around, go to the park, all those types of things. So that's something we have, the legislature gave us basically a 2-year window to create this and to report back to them. And so that's something we're looking at. We're trying to work with all the stakeholders in the area. We want to make sure that we do this right. And I think probably what we'll do is we're gonna dip our toe in the water a little bit, maybe go for some special events and times. But we want to make sure that this is done right, and hopefully this can be a model that goes forward to other cities as well. But stay tuned to that one for a little bit more. But with that, I just want to thank you for coming out and encourage you to swing into Anoka at any time. We love to have visitors, and we'd love to see you there.
Bye.